Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I am your host, Brandi, the Millennial Manager, and I am here with Dr. Kimani Sands, who is a psychologist and who is also throwing an amazing virtual summit. And I'm going to just pass the floor so that Dr. Kimani Sands can introduce herself, and then we're going to talk about this summit, what that looks like, what the purpose is, and the reason of why she is on this amazing mission. So, Dr. Kimani, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Brandi. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Kimani. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist of over 20 years. I'm also a toxic job survivor, but more importantly, I'm a toxic job liberator for Black women. I'm also the co-founder with Marissa Price of the second annual Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women coming up May 16th.
Yes. So tell me, Dr. Kimani, now I know if y'all say her name sounds familiar, her voice sounds familiar, it's because I had her and Dr. Brown on the podcast a few months back, and now we're here again. They have another, now it's Dr. Kimani and Marissa. They have an amazing event coming up, like Dr. Kimani said, on May 16th through the 21st. And the event is aimed at Black women who are in jobs that want to exit, right? This is the grand exodus for Black women to leave corporate America, or maybe just a job that is sucking you dry. And this is like one of those steps that Dr. Kimani has, or a platform that Dr. Kimani has created to help you do that. Even on her social media, you kind of focus on that too. Correct, Dr. Kimani?
Absolutely. I have a YouTube channel, Lifting As We Climb Consulting Wellness Services, where I talk about not only my own healing from a toxic job, but also I have different Black women coming on talking about their experiences to show Black women, number one, that we're not alone in being in these toxic work environments, that we have options and that we're able to get out. So you hear it not only from me, but from other Black women. I also want to say that the summit is not only for Black women who are in a job that's sucking them dry, but also it could be a job that maybe you've outgrown or maybe you got laid off. So there's a lot of Black women, federal workers who've been laid off very unexpectedly. So this summit is for all Black women. It doesn't matter if you're currently working, if you got laid off, if you're retired, it's really for all Black women.
Now give us a little run through or a hint of what you can, because I know we want it to be a surprise for everybody of what they're going to experience. But if I was attending the summit, what could I expect days 1 through 5? What does that look like for me?
Okay, thank you. So day one starts off in the evening. It's a kickoff with Coach Yolanda to kind of get us grounded in being present and really focusing on ourselves, because as Black women, we are doing everything for everybody and we're running all the time. So it's really to help us get grounded into this moment that we're centering ourselves and we have an open environment to learn from one another. Okay. I do want to say that all summit attendees, privacy consideration, no names will be listed. So none of the people coming in will have their names listed. They will not be on camera, because I know we have privacy. Like, I don't want people in my business. So if people want to make a question or pose a question or make a comment, they can change their name on the platform. So I want to say that front off, right? And everything's recorded too. So if you're not able to make all the sessions, you can see the recording, right? So the first day we have over 19 confirmed speakers.
Wow.
Who have all gone through experiences and they're pouring back into us. Now, the sessions deal with mindset, about getting ready to leave a job or pivoting and knowing that we have agency to leave. But a lot of the sessions deal with ways to replace your income. So we're looking at ways to replace your income, how to have multiple streams of income, how to get remote work, how to retire early. Because when you think about leaving a job, the most fears relate to, what am I going to do about my money? I got bills to pay. What am I going to do about that? So that's why a lot of the sessions deal with different ways to replace your income. We're going to talk about resumes, like how to address that, like gaps in employment or how to position yourself, and just all these, it's so many different sessions, but that's basically what it covers. And then we're going to have a Black woman attorney who is also an HR consultant talking about issues of discrimination, how to identify if there's discrimination going on in the workplace, how to document that, because you could possibly leave with some coins to help you out. So how to envision the life you want for yourself, how to go towards those dreams you have. And at any job you have transferable skills. So how do you really tap into those transferable skills to make yourself multiple streams of income, how to get a side hustle? And really, as Black women, particularly during this time, we really know that as Black women, we need to have plans together. We need to have our exit plan together at all time, because you never know what's going to happen, and you never want to be reliant on only one source of income. I'm also going to be doing an Afroflow yoga session. I'm in the process of becoming an Afroflow yoga teacher. So we're going to do an Afroflow yoga class, inspired class. So those are the next 2 days. And then we have 3 bonus sessions. So for those who get the all access pass, there are 3 separate bonus sessions, which are in the evenings. So that Monday will be Dr. Roche Brown, who you know.
Yes.
Dr. Roche Brown is a financial psychologist, and she is the woman I work with to get my financial exit plan together. So she's going to be going over how to create your financial exit plan and what to do about your health insurance and your retirement. Okay, so this is really based upon whatever timeline you want to leave that job, or if you've already left a job, really talking about getting your finances in order. And then the second day will be Janice Sutherland, and she's speaking specifically to Black women 50 and above, because once you get 50, you start really thinking, I cannot leave this job, or, oh my God, if I left the job, everything's going to be a terrible thing.
Yeah.
So how to pivot if you're 50 and above. And that last bonus session will be with Jackie Abram, talking about if you're still at the job, what are the ways you can protect yourself psychologically and cope with that until you can get out, until you can get your exit plan together. Because most of us can't just up and leave a job.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we are planning, we're getting your exit plans together. And I want to reiterate to everybody, listen here, I am not telling anybody to just up and leave a job and, girl, God got you, it's going to be okay. No, that's not what I'm saying to you. I never tell anyone to up and leave a job unless you're in immediate danger, physically and or psychologically. You're about to have a nervous breakdown, girl, go. Okay? But if that's not the situation, what I really want for Black women to know is that we can plan and we can pivot and we have agency. People back in the day, our mothers, maybe they didn't have as many options as we do, but we have options. So this is all these Black women coming together to share information so that you create your own plan based upon whenever you want to make your moves, but you'll be ready.
I am absolutely floored. First of all, there is this age-old myth, and sometimes it cannot be a myth. Sometimes it can actually be the truth, right? Depending on what the circumstance is, that we don't work together. We don't come together. We don't organize. This seems pretty organized to me.
It's very organized. It's all Black women, literally all Black women who've gone, these are experts in their field. So they know what they're talking about, and they're coming to share the information, and we're community with other Black women. So even if, you can see us as the summit speakers, you'll see us, but we can't see you, but it's still a community. So the chat is popping. Like, even though we're talking about serious stuff, like, we are joyful in that moment. Like, we are like vibing each other. Me too, me too, me too, girl, me too. And people find that once they come into the summit, they may come in fearful. They may come in broken about their situation, but they leave with a plan, with an exit plan. Like, okay, now I know. Now I know what my options are. So you're in a community of other Black women to uplift one another and to pour into you. Like, real life, this stuff will help you. So you don't have to be on YouTube trying to cobble some plan together or Google trying to pop. No, you don't have to do all that. It's a shortcut.
It's right there for you.
It's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there.
I love that. And y'all hear that? Okay. Now, not the foolishness outside, because I don't know why it's so loud outside. But do y'all hear what she's saying? Is that all these Black women have come together in their expertise, put all this information together to help you become, number one, a better person. All right. We know sometimes working at these jobs, they change you. They will change your personality. They will change your spirit. They will change everything about you. And when you're in very vulnerable situations where you kind of feel like it's fight or flight, I got to defend myself all the time, that changes a person. When you feel like
Absolutely.
you are constantly having to defend yourself and be on the defense to protect yourself in a work environment, that changes who you are because you take that outside into your personal life. So now you
Mhm.
have psychologists who are here to talk to you and really guide you on making that change career wise. But this is also really good for your personal life, for your
Yeah.
health. And I know Dr.
Yeah.
Kimani, she was telling me earlier that she was going to be navigating a yoga class, right?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that because I didn't know that you did yoga. That is so amazing. Can you highlight a little bit for us of what is that going to look like?
Yes. So it's an Afro Flow Yoga inspired class. So again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the process of becoming a teacher. I just became a certified yoga teacher. And Afro Flow
Congratulations.
Yoga, thank you.
You're
It's a little
welcome.
different. It's a little different because it combines African dance and yoga. So it's a full out yoga class. It's good. It's gentle. It's not like you got to be an expert in yoga,
Mm-hmm.
but have your yoga mat because we're going to be moving our bodies. Nobody's going to see you. So don't feel self-conscious like, oh, somebody going to see me. Nobody can see you. But it really is a merge of African dance and yoga because movement is a form of healing. Okay.
Yeah.
We need to get that toxicity out of our bodies. And as you mentioned, Brandi, being in a toxic work environment can really dim your light and it
Mm-hmm.
can really break you down. So, how do you connect to yourself and really cultivate the light that we have within us? And how do we fuel that light, right? And how do we see our dreams and how do we move forward towards those dreams, but also by moving our bodies because that helps us metabolize a lot of the toxicity we're going through. And I want to say something else, Brandi, that you were saying
Yeah.
to kind of go back to a lot of us Black women are really in this fight, flight, or freeze response.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to normalize that as a toxic job survivor, when I was at a toxic job, I was terrified of leaving. I was terrified. Even though I had all the skills and credentials and all that kind of stuff, I was terrified of leaving. And so I understand that. But there's also a biological component that I want to share with your listeners
Yeah.
too, is that when we're in a situation and we perceive it as dangerous, so let's say a work environment is toxic, there's no psychological safety going on, or let's say you're thinking about leaving an environment, that fear crops up, or let's say what's going on in the world right now, that fear. So when we perceive that we're in a dangerous situation,
Mm-hmm.
there's something in our brain that's called the amygdala. And the amygdala perceives, oh my God, we are in danger. The amygdala then prompts us to go into that fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
And many of us are in that freeze response. So we're like, oh, danger. Let me just stay put. Let me ground myself in a situation because I don't know what's going to happen. Okay. When you ground yourself in situations that are not safe, but then you lie to yourself and say, well, at least I'd rather stay with the devil I know than a devil I don't know. Nothing is stable. Nothing
Yeah.
is stable. Okay. So when you try to sit there and just brace yourself and hope that nothing's going to happen to you, that is not a good situation, right? Because things are happening and you're thrown off guard, you're not prepared.
Yeah.
So the thought is that when your amygdala is activated, fight, flight, or freeze, but when you're in a safer environment, you can access your prefrontal cortex. Normally, you can't do that because you're in fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
So the hope is that you'll be in the community and the summit. You can turn down that survival brain and you can access your prefrontal cortex. That's where you plan, that's where
Mm.
you organize, and that's where your judgment is.
I
Okay.
love
So then
that.
you want to move with more intention and more thoughtfully than not like in the survival mode. I think a lot of us are operating in the survival mode.
It's so funny that you bring that up because if you think about it, like you can go back to a moment where you feel like you were only using survival instincts to get through the day.
Yes.
And it's not something that just like, oh, this is just how I am. No, it's because you have limited what is that you were saying, your frontal cortex?
Your prefrontal cortex. So your planning, your organization,
Wow.
judgment is shut down. It's shut down.
Because you are in fight or flight.
Exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh. So if you are like, this is so interesting that you said that because I'm going back to my own self, right? Because I can only speak for my own self. When I worked at a toxic job, I remember only being able to feel like I was on the defense all the time.
Right. Right. Because you were perceiving accurately I'm in danger. I'm in danger. Because when we're in these environments, they're coming for you. You can see the writing on the wall. You
Oh
know what's going on,
yeah. Oh
right? So
yeah.
you already know that. So you're bracing. You're
You're
ready
bracing
to
for
go.
impact.
Exactly. And if
Wow.
you're bracing for impact, you can't think of anything else because your whole focus is on your survival.
Jesus. That is amazing. And I want us to really think about that. What you're saying is amazing. If you have been in a process where you're thinking like you're not really able to make clear decisions, you feel like you're in a brain fog a lot, that could
Mhm.
be the case, right, Dr. Kamani?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're in crisis mode.
Oh my God, this is such a, you know how Oprah said it's such an aha moment. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yes. And so what I want to say too is it's good for us to understand that,
Yeah.
but it's also good for understand what are the situations that can help us turn down that survival brain,
Mm.
right? So your day to day might really be you are in crisis mode. You have to be in survival mode.
Yeah.
That might be your day to day. But what are the other areas in your life where you feel protected, where you
Mm-hmm.
feel supported, that you don't feel like you're under attack? So you can turn down that survival brain. So the hope is that the summit provides an opportunity for all of us to come together as Black women so you can turn down that survival brain. Nobody's here to attack you through the
Yeah.
summit. We're all here to pour into you and to uplift you and to share information.
Wow, this is beautiful. Now, let me ask you, do you all have like a mental health component to this? I know, Black women, I feel like we are the biggest advocates ever for mental health. I feel like we kind of have fully adopted it, especially with the election. I feel like with the election, we have really taken our peace into serious control. Like we are holding on to it. We're not allowing anybody to have control or be at the will of our peace or being at the will of us too, because a lot of times we're just thrown out there to go save the world. And I feel like collectively as Black women, we have kind of set this out, right?
Yeah.
So tell
And we need
me,
to
like,
save ourselves.
yeah, we got to save ourselves. And a lot of people have done that over the years. And now it's time for us to do that. Some people have taken
Sure.
issue, but it doesn't matter either way because we're
Right.
going to do what we need to do. Okay.
That's right.
But
That's
tell
right.
me, like, what does some of the mental health components look like for the virtual summit?
Yes. So we deal a lot with the mindset because the mindset is going to keep you there. So you have the fear and you're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, I can't. So we address the mindset. We also have a speaker talking about taking a career break because as Black women, we're so busy all the time. The thought of like maybe taking a career break for a certain period of time, whatever amount of time works for you,
Yeah.
that's revolutionary. We're going to talk about breath work, so connecting to our breath. So really being mindful of how we are feeling as we start navigating the changes. And we talk about mental health throughout the whole summit because the fear is the overriding issue that keeps a lot of us still stuck. So you can still get the information, right? But if you're fearful and you
Yeah.
don't know what to do with the fear, you have a hard time implementing the information. So we talk about issues of fear and how to address it, but also how to get a handle on it. So the breath work, envisioning the life
Yeah.
you want for yourself, connecting to your dreams. So now we're looking at a higher level of functioning that you're not on this primal level of just, oh my God, I have to just always protect myself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's envision the life that you want for yourself. And, Brandi,
Mm-hmm.
how do we as Black women not only protect our peace, but how do we connect to our joy? Because we are so
Ooh.
busy all the time that we lose sight that being busy all the time, that's a trauma response.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
So
Why
how
are
do we
you
look
on
at
my
ourselves?
pew? Why are you on my pew? You supposed to be here talking to us about this conference. Why are you in my
I'm loving
business?
calling it everybody here, including you, girl. I'm calling it everybody because I think as Black women, we all have the similar issue that we're always busy, 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 right? And
Girl, because
we
I've been so busy, Dr. Kamani. I got the Beyonce nails, y'all. Ooh, because our sister do not keep them nails done. I now understand.
yes.
I
So
didn't understand that until I got in corporate America for real. Like I was in corporate America, but I was a worker bee. Okay, I was just going home and not doing nothing outside of my job description. But now that I am in management and in leadership, I be like, oh,
yes,
I see
yes.
it now.
Yes, yes. So what does that mean to still work on our profession?
Yeah.
And what does that mean to really have work-life balance? What does that look like? And how do we really incorporate that in our lives?
I
Which is
love
a
that.
huge part of mental health.
I
And
love
another
that.
huge part of mental health are boundaries. We didn't
Mm.
talk about this on it because, you know,
Okay.
people are like, oh, Brandi, you do that so good. Can you do that for us again? Brandi, da, da, da. And all
Hell
she wants
no. Hell to the no. I've learned that. You want me to say it in Spanish? I would say I have no problem. Hell no, I cannot.
yes, yes, yes. So, but some of us are not as advanced as you with boundaries, okay?
That's right.
So we do talk about that in the summit about
Yeah.
how do we create boundaries, and we have to be intentional about it because sometimes what happens, these jobs, they will send you emails after work hours,
Mm-mm.
right? But we have to be mindful of not checking the dang email.
That's
So
right.
if they send an email, doesn't mean we have to look at it, doesn't mean we have to respond. If you're
Mm-mm.
not like in a crisis a job where it requires you to immediately respond to every email, don't do that.
No.
So we have to have those personal boundaries because what happens, Brandi,
Mm-hmm.
is that some of us, our identity becomes fused with our job.
Ooh. Say that one more
Right?
time. Say that one more time. Let's go back.
The identity's fused, girl. The identity's fused. So you are your job. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever your job title is, that is who you are. So you feel like you cannot have a life outside of
You
that.
can't turn it
So that
off.
means you can't because you're constantly seeking external validation from the job. So you're trying to get the next promotion, the next, accolade, the next thing. But now they're manipulating you because they know, oh,
And
they
your
know
ass
how.
ain't gonna get it no way.
Right.
You trying,
Yeah.
baby, but you ain't gonna get it. You
And if you do get it, you're gonna have people in that workplace who are gonna be coming for you.
Oh,
Because
baby. Can
how
you
many
say
of
I
us
know we
black
ain't
women?
shopping at Target, but Target will become you, okay? On your back.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Hmm. This is so good. I know I was telling you that I probably will not be able to attend live because we are going to see our good sister with bad nails. We are going to see her. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I get my nails done. But I'm telling you, I am definitely going to be purchasing my ticket because I want to go back and I want to watch and I want to engage or, just kind of see what this looks like because I know this is going to be coming on the road. I know Dr. Kimani is like, no, this thing gonna be 10,000 strong, okay? And you're gonna get a lot of
Yeah,
people there, and it's gonna be a lot of presence there because I see it as something that's very useful, and it has a lot of areas that people may need work in. Like maybe you don't need necessarily like discussions about finance because maybe that's where you already are. You're already an expert in that area, so maybe that's not it, but maybe that mental health component is for you.
yes,
Maybe
yes.
the sisterhood conversations, like maybe that is something that is for you. And I do want to talk about some of the instructors or speakers that you're going to have on the conference. One of the young ladies is somebody you actually recommended to me. I
Oh,
want to say her name is Stephanie.
oh, Stephanie Perry.
Yes.
Oh, Stephanie's on a whole nother level. Yes,
Girl,
yes.
talk about Miss Stephanie because you told me about Miss Stephanie.
Girl. Stephanie on a whole nother. Stephanie is like really ushering in a movement for Black women to live a life of ease. Okay, like
Yes.
her life, everything she does, but it's all about sisterhood too, because she
Yeah.
really looks out for other Black women and creates spaces for Black women. But something that Stephanie says, two quotes that she says that I love. One is that a job is something that we do to make money. It is not who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, a job is not a good job if you are getting sick or if the job is killing you and you're accessing those so-called good benefits because the job is making you sick. That's not a good
Okay.
job.
Because you at the doctor every other week.
Girl, because
You
there's no
should
benefits.
you should
So
not be at the
Stephanie's our
doctor
first,
that much.
yes, Stephanie's our first speaker, and she's going to be talking about detoxing our brains,
Mm.
detoxing our minds,
What does
so that
that
we
look
are
like, Dr.
new
Kimani?
information. It means again disconnecting your identity from that job.
Wow.
Right? So how do you see your job? Okay, so I'll go to this job, certain amount of hours. These are my boundaries. I'm not telling people my personal business. I'm going to come in, do my job. When I start seeing the red flags, all the red flags and the writing on the wall, I start creating my own exit plan to get out of this place. I'm not going to broadcast it at the job. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you take ownership of your life
Yeah.
without giving your life over to a job that may be killing you, honestly?
Wow. Now, what do you say for people who are like, I don't necessarily want to get out of corporate America altogether, right? Maybe they're not there yet, but they
Mhm.
do want to get out of this toxic job. Like, is there an avenue for that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, this is for all Black women. You could want to stay in another job, go to another job. But the thing is this, what we talk about in the summit is to help you so you don't go from one toxic job to the next.
Mm.
Okay. So that happens too when we're not healed, is you go
Mm-hmm.
one to one
You
to one
just
to one.
run for the first thing coming. They make it. It's six figures, and your
You
ass ain't gonna
break
be able
it
to spend
down.
out a dime.
Exactly, right. The golden handcuffs, you broke it down.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the quality of your life.
Yeah.
So the sum is talking about not only how do you replace your income or have multiple streams of income, but also the quality of your life.
Yeah.
It's way more important than any job. So that's the huge mental health takeaway. Mental health is all about us centering ourselves and really saying it's okay
Yeah.
for me to center myself. That's not selfish.
Yeah.
It is okay because if I want to help anybody else, I have to be well first. And what are the things that protect my mental health?
Mm-hmm.
And what are those things that attack my mental health? If you attacking my mental health, I need to come up with a plan to mitigate that or exit from that situation. It's not going to get better.
I do want to lean into that a little bit more, Dr. Kimani. You were saying that the about the topic about leaning kind of into our mental health and that it's not selfish for us to want to take care of ourselves. Can we talk
Yes.
about that for a little bit?
Yes.
Because I think that as Black women, just like we said,
Yes.
at
Yes.
that with the election conversation, just
Mm-hmm.
with our families, I just feel like we are the most giving
Absolutely.
group of people. I just feel
We
like
are.
we give ourselves a lot or of ourselves
Yes.
a lot.
And
Whether
we
it's to
lose
our
ourselves.
jobs or go ahead, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
I'm sorry, girl. I was just vibing with you. I felt like we were like,
Yes, like we are on the same, like whether it's our jobs or in a relationship, when we have children, like
Mhm.
we are really giving of ourselves. And
Yes.
this day and age right now, I think, like you said, you can't really take care of yourself or take care of anybody else until you are
Mm-mm.
ready, until you are healed. It's
True.
just like when you're on a plane. When you're on that
True.
plane, they tell you what? Put your mask on
So
first.
first, yes.
Because you can't
You
help nobody. You can't help little Johnny
yeah.
if you are
Yeah.
not making sure that you are safe. And so I think that
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking at this like, but I don't want to really, do this. I don't know if I'm ready yet. You need to invest in yourself at this point
Mm-hmm.
because you have done a lot for the people around you. Them
Yeah.
kids got enough new shoes. I'm talking to myself. Okay,
no,
them damn Jordan. I'm so sick of Jordan. And we putting whoever Jordan grandkids is and them little twins he got, we didn't put them through school.
right.
Cause I am
Right.
so sick of buying these doggone shoes. But you're constantly giving of yourself, especially when you are a mother. I just feel like that's something that you prioritize way more than your mental health needs. Like you kind of
Mhm.
just get a
You
little
lose
bit of
yourself.
the what is that you feel that like the happiness of your child, you feel that for yourself. So you feel like, okay, that's a good feeling and you're happy with that feeling, but that's not enough to sustain you.
It's not enough. It's not enough. And right. And so when we lose ourselves, what I've noticed so many times,
Mm-hmm.
Brandi, in my coaching and my therapy with
Mm-hmm.
Black women, I'll say, so what do you like to do for fun? And Brandi, it's like a deer in the headlights. Like, what did you
Like
say?
who? Me?
Right. You meant me? Like my kids? No, no. What do you like to do for fun? That's an example of us losing ourselves. We
Yeah.
give, 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 but we need to replenish ourselves and we need to say to ourselves as Black women that we deserve joy. What I hear from Black women, which I want us to reject, is I'm too busy for joy. I got bills to pay. Girl, you can still pay your bills and find times for joy. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about going on vacation every week. I'm not talking about that. There are small things, and we're going to talk about this during the summit. There's small things that we can do daily
Yeah.
to incorporate joy in our lives. And we need to be protective, like fiercely protective of our joy and our time. And again, it's not going to talk like 8 hours of our
Yeah.
day, but like what are the pockets that we can have of joy?
Yeah. I love that you said that. Like just little bits, little things that you can do. It doesn't have to be so grand. It can be something small. Okay? Like
And it can be
participating in
silly
a virtual
too.
summit. It costs
Yes.
less than a pair of Jordans. That's all I'm gonna say. And you
Right,
get
right.
way more for
Yes,
less than a
right.
pair of Jordans.
Exactly right. A pair of Jordans will wear out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
This is an investment. So you're pouring into yourself
Yeah.
to help yourself grow. And as you said before, like, well, I don't know if I'm not ready. I don't know that. So I invite Black women, if you're second guessing yourself, you're on the
Yeah.
fence.
Yeah.
I invite you to think about, why am I on the fence? Why am I
Mm.
on the fence about this? Am I resistant because now that means I need to make a change? Listen, sis, nobody is commit like you sign up for the summit. Nobody is holding you to you have to leave your job
Yeah.
or you have to implement the information. Nobody's holding. This is to have the information, but you stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stay ready. Have your plans ready so that you will always be available, have this information available when you need it.
Yeah.
You're investing in yourself.
I really love that. Like this is such a good platform. I definitely think that the overall idea of it, the job liberation, like this is so important and we really need it right now. I feel like we have to discover other ways to find joy, just like you said. It cannot come from things that can be taken away from you.
True.
It cannot come
True.
from things, guys. Your
True.
joy has to be something that's on the
External.
inside. Yeah. Yes.
That part.
Yes.
Yes.
So I definitely feel like just the elevation that you're going to receive in this is going to help you in that journey. And no, like Dr. Kamani said, you may not be ready to leave tomorrow, but at least you have the resources to prepare yourself for
Mhm.
when that opportunity comes, because
Yeah.
I would much rather that opportunity become or come to me voluntarily. It's
Yes.
something that I want and
Yes.
not the other way around. Because
True.
sometimes if you wait around too long, he'll just remove you. Okay. Which I feel like might be me in a year. But all I'm saying, all I'm saying is that you need to make the decision voluntarily. Like if it's already on your heart and you're doing other things, especially for people who have their own business. You got
Mhm.
your own business. It's time for you to start that process. So don't be in doubt about what you want to do. If you are ready to leave that job, or maybe it is a toxic situation and you know you need to leave, like it's beyond like whether you want to or not, you know that it is a necessary thing for you to get out of this job to protect yourself, to either A, go into entrepreneurship, either B, get another job, because that is an option.
And C, create a side
Come
hustle.
on.
So as you are still working that job, you can make multiple streams of income.
That's right. Before you even exit. Okay. Because there are so many ways to make money, is what we have
True.
all learned.
Yes.
Like over the last, what, COVID was 2020. Over the last 5 years, I think we have seen the
Yes.
most entrepreneurs really rise, and a lot of businesses really rise from the ashes because people found their way, that this is not something that I want to do. And going back to your personal testimony, Dr. Kamani, I know you shared with us the last time you were on the podcast, you were talking about your personal experience of leaving that toxic job. What
Yes.
was that like for you? Like how did you come to that level of understanding? Like now that we have a little more listeners, people are maybe new, they haven't had a chance to go back and listen that far. Can you just
Mhm.
kind of enlighten us on what that experience was for you?
Yeah. So when I first started my job,
Mm-hmm.
I used to work for a school district, the second largest school district in the nation. It was a dream job, Brandi. It was
Yeah.
wonderful. It was a fantastic job. I had two Black women supervisors. They were outstanding. I'm still connected to them to this day.
Wow.
Loved it,
That's
right?
beautiful.
And yes, but then they retired. And when they retired, because I'd already noticed that there was some toxic stuff going on in the system, but
Mm-hmm.
they were like my buffers. When they retired, I knew I was going to be in trouble, and that's exactly what happened. So there were things that were happening, and I went from pet to threat at the job. So pet to threat. So 3 Black women researchers came up with the term pet to
Yes, they
threat.
did.
Dr. Juanita Johnson Bailey, Dr. Keisha Thomas, Dr. Rosemary Phelps. So pet to threat is when you are brought into a situation in the workplace
Mm-hmm.
because you are shining. You are just outstanding. We love Brandi. Oh my God, she's coming to save our organization. We love Brandi. And then Brandi or me, you start outshining people in the workplace, and
Yeah.
there's a shift in terms of how you're seen and treated as a threat. So there
Mm.
was a push out. So that's exactly what happened to me. So I was demoted without any clear reason why, no clear reason why, demoted and put back to my entry level position. So at this point, I had been back at the job maybe about 11 years at that point.
11 years?
11 years, put back to my entry level position. I had promoted and put back to my entry level position. It was a whole bunch of shenanigans. I'm not going to go into all the details here. It's on my YouTube channel. Okay. So Lifting Us with Climb Consulting Wellness Services, where I talk a little bit more about it. But they put me back to my entry level position, and it was so demeaning. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that you had like risen up and done all these things, done leadership stuff, and they put you back in your
You know
leadership
that's what
position?
Mary J. Blige sung about. 11 years I sacrifice, and you
Yes,
can leave
girl.
me at the drop of a dime.
Yes, yes, that is exactly what happened. And girl, they were
Oh,
just it was so demeaning. It was
yeah.
so demeaning. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was kind of like they were playing in my face, right? But I kept trying to make it work, Brandi, because I love Black students. I love all students, but I
Yeah.
love Black students,
Yeah.
right? So when I was at the job, I was like, I'm gonna fight for these Black students. I don't care what they're gonna do. They could demote me. They could do all this stuff, but I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna make this work, right? Because I'm the Harriet Tubman of this job.
Oh,
Yes, because
I
people at the
mean, you
job
are
were
Harriet, but in a
no,
different
they
way.
were calling me Harriet. They were calling me Harriet. They're like, "Oh, girl, we know you gonna figure it out. We gonna right." Other Black people, we know you gonna figure it out, right? So then I took on that
That
responsibility,
mantle.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The mantle of advocating for Black students. Then it became I'm advocating for Black families and I'm advocating for Black staff. But what was happening was those people at the job were not allowing me to do that work anymore.
Mm.
So they prevented me from even doing the work. So now I'm fighting people to do the job.
Oh no.
Okay. And it just got to a point, it was so ridiculous. Like it got to a point where first they were gaslighting me, telling me, oh, we don't have any funding, for Black students. We don't have the funding, for you to do this work for Black students, right? We don't have the funding. So then the district got a whole bunch of money specifically for Black students, money pouring in for Black students, right? So they're telling the Black administrators in that department, oh, Kimani's going to be doing your trainings. Now, keep in mind, these people I'm talking about, they never referred to me as doctor. Okay, they never
Hmm.
acknowledged my doctor, right?
The
That just
ultimate disrespect. Mm-hmm.
right, right, right.
Bringing you down.
Exactly. So they're telling these Black people, the administrators over there, oh, she's going to be doing your training. She's going to be doing all that other kind of stuff, right? So the Black administrators are coming to me. We're excited to work with you. We've heard about these trainings you do. Like, we can't wait to work with you, right? So I'm like, okay. Then these people in my
You
head
said
are like,
okay,
girl, look.
Dr.
So
Kimani.
these
What the hell was going on with you?
listen, right.
Oh.
But then these fools here are like, you can have no involvement in that program whatsoever.
Oh.
I'm like, what? Like they're coming to me because you told them that I was going to do their trainings, right? But then you're telling me I can have no involvement. You talking about some mind f stuff, right? So finally, I was like, you know what? This is some nonsense. I was in therapy with my Black woman therapist. Da, da, da. So she was like, girl, you need to take a leave of absence because it's a whole bunch of nonsense. You will never win with these people. They set
No.
you up to fail.
Yeah.
She's like, girl, this place is too small for you anyway. I see you doing something bigger and better, right? So I was like, okay, let me take this leave. Now, when I was on the leave, I start making my exit plan. So I knew when I took that leave, I was like, I'm not coming back to this place. I'm
Yeah.
not coming back. So then that's when I started working with Dr. Roche Brown, the
Mm-hmm.
financial psychologist, to get my money together. Because I said, okay, what's keeping me at that job? The fear of the finances. Okay, so how do I get a handle on that? Start working with her, start replacing my income. And then over time, she's like, okay, let's look at where the money is. Okay, you're replacing your income. Okay, girl, you're going to be okay. Like, you really can walk away. And in fact, if you don't walk away, you lose the money if you go back to the job.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, okay. So I felt like a greater sense of confidence about that.
Yeah.
But I was still fearful. I was still fearful to make that final step. until I was in the shower. I heard the voice of God say to me, it's clear as day, if you go back to that job, it's a death sentence. Okay. Now, keep in mind, Black women at that job had been dying.
Mm.
Okay. Heart attacks, strokes, cancer. I'd seen that over the years, right? So I knew God was not lying to me. Okay. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I got you, God. I got out the shower, I got dressed, and I resigned effective immediately. And I said, I'm resigning effective immediately because the mental health unit that I'm working under is causing me psychological harm, and I need to resign. And I
Yeah.
called out all the people who did these things, whatever, whatever. And then after I sent that email, I put on my crown. I had like a portable crown on, in the house, and I played Beyonce, "You Won't Break My Soul," and I said, "This is your
Yes.
girl.
So
No,
this
you're not
was
doing it."
during COVID.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was about 3 years ago. I would say approximately 3 years
What?
ago. Yes, yes, yes. And again, amazing how my life has transformed since that time,
Oh
right?
my
So
God.
since that time, I went from scared to leave a job, didn't know how to replace my income,
Yeah.
to leaving the job, having multiple streams of income, exceeding my income, greatly exceeding my income from the job, on Instagram,
Come
on
on. Come
YouTube,
on.
talking about Black women toxic jobs, creating master classes, having a summit. So now I have a movement to help Black women. This is before a Black woman who did not even want to get on social media.
Wow.
And now I'm on social media all the time.
Wow. I
And see
love
what they did?
this.
See what they did? They woke me up. I was asleep, right? They woke
Mm-hmm.
me up. I was asleep. But look what they did now. So
I
now
am going to tell you, Dr. Kamani, I really hate that it had to take a death sentence. That it gets us a lot of times. I think that sometimes people need the reality of that's on its way for you,
true,
if you
true.
don't take it serious. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you listened
Mm-hmm.
and you were listening to the warning, because the warning comes before destruction. And I
True.
definitely think that that's something that a lot of people just ignore. Like, oh, I'm just a little aggravated, or I'm just this, and then you start feeling tingling in your left arm. Okay, that you ain't supposed
Yeah.
to be feeling, and this job is
Yeah.
bringing you down slowly. I hate that it had to get to a death sentence, but I am
Yes.
glad that you listened.
Yes. Now, again, I was hard headed, right? Because I was having other physical, psychological symptoms, dreading. I was having all the symptoms, but I
Really?
just lied to myself. I just ignored it. I ignored it, but I couldn't ignore that. I could not ignore the voice of God. And my family, even my immediate family, was saying, "You need to leave. We
Yeah.
want you to leave," right? But what I experienced too was that my mother didn't want me to leave. She didn't want me to leave because I had a so-called good
Good
government job
job. Mm-hmm.
with good benefits.
Mm-hmm.
She retired from a good government job with good benefits. So she was like, you got to fight these
She
people.
couldn't see
And
it.
I was like, no, I don't, because this place is killing me. Number
Yeah.
one. Number two, I can't do it. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, I had to make a difficult decision of not talking to her about my job anymore. I didn't talk.
Mm.
So she would bring it up and I'll be like, yeah, it's okay. I would just,
Yeah. Everything's
you
good.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because I had to have boundaries with my own mother.
Wow.
Okay. And I want to say that because I think your listeners might be able to relate too, because there might be people around you who are your family, your friends, telling you some version of, you cannot leave that job. That's not realistic. We don't do stuff like that. You need to stick it out. Girl, that's a good job. What other kind of job? They're projecting their fears onto you.
Yeah.
So you have to be mindful of that and really say, wait a minute, I need to do best with me, for me and my family. And I have to, anybody else who's telling me to stay in an environment that's harming me, I need to have boundaries and not tell them about what my plans are.
Come on.
And you need to start getting ready. You
I
need to
know
start
that's
getting ready.
right. That's right. And whatever plans you got, you better be keeping them to yourself. We talk about that.
Yeah.
Don't tell your work
And don't tell your
bestie.
coworkers. Ooh, don't do it.
We see how we came together on that. Do not tell your work bestie.
Don't do
As
it.
much as you love them people, child, some of them people are the most sabotaging, and they are going to stop you at every turn. But I can appreciate the fact that you recognize that too. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
Your ears are not ready for this.
Right.
Your ears are not
Right.
ready for this stage that I'm in. And so I'm just going to
Right.
keep this to myself, take it to my prayer closet. If you got a prayer closet, or just take it to your personal space and pray about it. I had a friend today call me and tell me something, and I said, girl, do it. Do it. Go to God first, because ultimately that's the one. Okay.
True.
And
True.
sometimes the devil and God sound alike.
Yeah. Ooh.
Okay, because he be,
Okay.
he prey on the flesh, but the devil and God sometimes can sound very similar, which makes the spirit and the knowledge of what God is saying hard to discern. And you really have to just be in connection with God. I don't want to turn this into no sermon or nothing, but I'm just saying that you have to be really connected to know the difference, and to understand that your mother, as wise, and mature and loving, and she had your best interest at heart, she just was not ready for that conversation because it's not something that she had seen.
Right. She couldn't even conceptualize it.
Uh-uh.
Well, again, people around us, they may
Mm-hmm.
not be able to conceptualize a life outside of a certain job, a so-called good job.
Yes.
But you have to think about for yourself and ground yourself in what is best for me.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That is beautiful, Dr. Kimani. Well, I will say I have enjoyed you again. This has been such a wonderful experience. Y'all, please make sure that you are signing up for the Job Liberation Virtual Summit. And I know it's going to be in person one day. I know she said no, but it's coming. I just see this as such a beautiful movement, and I can't wait till it's my turn to participate. I think it's amazing what you all are doing, and I love that you all are incorporating so many other Black women, and bringing them into the platform and allowing the listeners or the viewers of the content that you all are putting out to really come together and have a place where we can feel comfortable, where we can bond, relate, and because that's very important. You may find someone that has the similar job, and you're laughing in the comments or whatever it is. You may have someone that's there that has that similar thing as you, and you can relate to and build that bridge, and that may be
Yeah.
another opportunity for you to exit. So I really love this. I think it's an amazing platform. I love it. I can't wait for the Exodus Conference one. That's probably what it's going to be called. Let my people go, child. Let us go.
Woo! Let
Give
my
us
people
free.
go.
Get us up out of
Yes.
here. But
Yes.
I cannot wait for it. I think it's going to be amazing. So I would not be surprised if in the next 2 years that is something that you all have kind of mountain to. I definitely feel like that is something that's on the horizon. So
I receive
congratulations to
that.
you all, sisters. I love
Thank
this. I
you.
love hearing Black women working together because we can.
Absolutely.
And we do.
Absolutely.
And it's
Absolutely.
just a
And
select
don't let,
few that be tripping. But
girl, right? Let us not focus on the select few and put all of our focus on those people and have them generalize.
yep,
I've had negative experiences with some Black women, but I would never say
all
all
Black
Black women are
women.
because of these
Mm-hmm.
misguided people. No,
Mm-hmm.
no.
It's
Uh-uh.
just some. It's just some. That's right.
Yeah.
It's just some of everything. it's some.
Yeah.
It's some people that you just don't want to deal with. Period. White or black. So it's
Okay.
just some type of people that you just don't want to deal with. But I hate that they put that stereotype on us. And, sometimes we kind of feed into it and participate.
Absolutely.
And that's,
Absolutely.
a negative thing as well. But I definitely believe that what you all are doing is amazing. Please tell us
Yeah.
where we can purchase the tickets, what the tiers are, because I remember we talked about the tiers
Yes.
and what that looks like for each price point.
Yes. Okay. So you can purchase the tickets. You can have the link that's going to be in the description section. So that's how you get the tickets.
Yes.
So there's two tiers. So one is the 149 option. So you get all the regular days. So May 16th, 17th, and the 18th. Then you come to the summit again virtually,
Mm-hmm.
and you have access to the replays till May 21st. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're not able to come to the full summit again, you have the replays till May 21st. Then the highest tier is you come to the summit, you get the replay so for a year. Okay. So it really gives you an opportunity to go back and like take notes and go back and revisit the sessions. So you have that. And then you get a discount off of the 2024 summit. So you can get the replay of that. And
Oh,
then
wow.
you
You can
have,
go back and watch the 2024 summit.
yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing,
Absolutely.
y'all.
So we had 300 Black women attendance at 2024. So you can go back and look at that summit. And then with that highest tier, you have access to the 3 bonus sessions. So the 3 bonus sessions that I mentioned before,
Hmm.
Dr. O'Shea Brown, financial psychologist, about getting your financial exit plan together, what to do about your retirement, what to do about your health insurance. Janice Sutherland talking about, and again, these are in the evening,
Hmm.
okay? This is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the evening. So then you have Janice Sutherland talking to Black women 50 and above about how to pivot once you get in your 50s from a job. And then Jackie Abram, that third day, third bonus session is what to do when you're still in a job. How do you survive as you're creating that exit plan? So those are 2 options, and that was $399. Okay,
Yes.
so $149 is the initial tier, and then $399 is the highest tier. Okay, so
Yes.
you have the bonus sessions, you have all the replays, and as a reminder, as a privacy consideration, none of the summit attendees will be seen on camera. Their names will not be listed. If you want to make a comment or question in the comments, you can change your name in the platform.
I love that. This is so amazing and secure, ladies. So definitely make sure that you sign up for the summit. Again, just like Dr. Kimani said, the link is going to be in the title of the podcast episode. So you'll be able to click there, or in the description of the podcast episode. You'll be able to click there, purchase your ticket for or your admission for the virtual summit, and you'll be able to have it just like she described. And they even have it broken down on the site. So when you click onto the site, if you get a little confused about which tier you want to be in, once you sign in and put your email in, you'll be able to go in further and select what tier you would like to be in. So again, this starts on May 16th through the 21st. So not next week or the week after, but the week after that. So we still got
Yeah,
3 weeks, okay?
yeah.
So make sure that we are sat and present, okay, ladies? So I cannot wait to see y'all, or I might change my name. I might be Zoe or something. I don't know. I might change my name. But I cannot wait to see everybody in the summit. I definitely appreciate you again, Dr. Kimani. Do you want to leave us with a closing word before we end our podcast episode today?
Yes, just remember this is an investment into you.
Yes.
So this is not like you're getting your nails done or your lashes done or your hair done. This is really pouring into you to
Mm-hmm.
help better your life so you have a better quality of life. And again, this is for Black women. It doesn't matter what your education level, your profession, where you are in relation to your job situation. You could have even been laid off or you're
Yeah.
already retired. This is literally for all Black women coming together to uplift one another and to pour into you so that you are able to pivot in power on your own terms when you are ready to pivot. Again, the importance of stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
I love it. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Again, this is Dr. Kimani Sands on the Millennial Management Podcast. Please make sure that you purchase your ticket in the description of the podcast episode today. And that is gonna be it for today. Thank you so much again for joining us, Dr. Kimani. And we're gonna chat just for a little after the podcast. I'm gonna end it now. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good ass day. Bye.